Freddy and Juan have just uncovered what could be the biggest treasure find of the decade, a hidden chamber packed with $98 million in gold, jewels, and artifacts that no one expected. This wasn't luck. It was years of intuition, patience, and relentless digging that led them to a map long forgotten and clues that everyone else overlooked. Locals whispered about lost caches from a century-old gold rush, but no one ever imagined the scale of what lay beneath the surface. As they pried open the chamber, the glint of gold filled their eyes, stacks of coins and rare artifacts hinting at a story centuries in the making. Every step inside the chamber revealed more than wealth. It revealed history, mystery, and secrets carefully hidden to survive time itself. Freddy and Juan are not just miners, they've become discoverers of legends, and this is only the beginning. Smash that like button and subscribe if you want to follow every ounce of gold Freddy and Juan unearth in real time. Because what we're about to show could change treasure hunting forever. It all started with a dusty, weathered map Freddy stumbled upon, its edges frayed and markings cryptic, as if it had been waiting centuries for the right eyes. Juan leaned over, squinting at patterns no one before had noticed. "This isn't just a path," he said, tracing a series of strange symbols. "This could be the key to a hidden chamber no one ever found." Locals whispered about forgotten caches from a gold rush, long erased from memory. Their tales half legend, half warning, but the map was concrete. The team's initial search revealed almost nothing, just the raw earth beneath, tangled undergrowth. But that only made their hearts pound harder. Doubts circled like vultures, and warnings of unstable ground echoed in their ears, yet Freddy and Juan couldn't resist following the trail, their determination outweighing every caution. Days passed, and the first real signs of gold emerged. Handheld sonar and ground-penetrating radar picked up faint anomalies buried under layers of sediment, faint whispers of something hidden below. Soil samples teased their excitement, flecked with tiny golden fragments that hinted at more than a simple find. Freddy and Juan debated in low tones whether these were mere leftovers of past explorers or a signal of a massive hidden chamber waiting beneath them. Each step carried risk. The terrain shifted unexpectedly, roots and rocks threatening to throw a misstep into disaster. But the crew pressed on, silent and methodical. Every strike of the shovel, every scrape against stone, echoed like a heartbeat, each one ratcheting anticipation higher. The tension wasn't just in the gold they sought. It was in the knowledge that a single mistake could bury this opportunity forever. After relentless labor and sleepless nights, the earth finally yielded its secret. A narrow tunnel appeared beneath a jagged rock formation, almost invisible to the casual eye. Ancient markings etched into stone centuries ago suggested deliberate concealment, a passage meant to endure both time and human curiosity. Dust swirled with every cautious step, carrying the intoxicating scent of discovery, as Freddy's hands trembled with adrenaline, while Juan meticulously mapped the winding route. The first glimpse into the darkness revealed only a shadow of what lay ahead, but as they pressed forward, the tunnel gradually opened into a massive underground room. Stone walls glinted faintly in the torchlight. Crates rotted with age, chests sagged under decades of weight, and decayed safes whispered of treasures preserved against human interference. Gold lay in deliberate layers, meticulously arranged, a silent testament to ambition spanning generations. Every step carried both awe and calculation. As Freddy and Juan realized that this was more than discovery, it was history waiting to be claimed. The magnitude of the find hit them immediately. Quick surveys and careful sampling indicated the treasure could be worth an estimated $98 million, a staggering sum that only intensified the tension in the room. Each nugget gleamed with an unusual purity, almost defying modern geological expectations, as though the source itself had been lost to time and legend. Freddy and Juan stood over the piles of gold, debating extraction strategies with the urgency of survival and profit pressing in equal measure. Maps and ancient records hinted that this chamber might not be the only one, that other caches could lie undiscovered nearby, waiting for those bold or reckless enough to search. A moral dilemma quickly surfaced. Reveal the treasure immediately to claim fame and security, or continue in secrecy, slowly uncovering history while risking unforeseen danger. Every choice carried weight, and every decision rippled through the team, drawing out tension and mistrust in equal measure. But excitement collided with danger almost immediately. The chamber's structural integrity was already showing signs of stress. Minor collapses along the walls, dust falling like ominous rain, and floorboards that shifted under the team's weight. Freddy insisted on reinforcing key points with supports and beams, while Juan cautiously began small-scale extraction trials, carefully moving gold pieces to test stability. Every creak of equipment, every groan of stone amplified the suspense. The crew moved as one, each person attuned to subtle warnings hidden in sound and shadow. Old inscriptions etched into the chamber walls suggested deliberate deterrence, cryptic warnings from those who had concealed the treasure, booby traps designed to protect it from the unwary. Each step had to be calculated. Greed whispered in their ears, daring boldness, while caution warned of collapse and disaster. The balance was delicate, almost razor-thin, a silent duel between human ambition and the chamber's ancient defenses. The extraction trials revealed surprises at every turn. Gold and artifacts that seemed merely ornamental turned out to be of extraordinary historical value. Some pieces marked with symbols that suggested international provenance, hinting at smuggling networks spanning continents. Every discovery intensified the team's focus, their movements more deliberate, their attention sharpened by the awareness that one misstep could trigger a collapse, burying not just treasure, but potentially lives. Freddy's hands ached from lifting, Juan's eyes strained from constant mapping and monitoring, yet neither wavered. The allure of wealth and history intertwined, pulling them forward into the chamber's depths. Shadows stretched unnaturally in the torchlight, flickering across walls carved with messages left by those who had come before, cryptic advice or warnings lost to time. The air was thick, heavy with anticipation, every sound magnified, every vibration on the floor sending tremors through the crew's nerves. Decision-making became a constant negotiation between opportunity and peril. Freddy calculated which piles could be safely moved first. Juan cross-referenced the ancient markings with their modern maps, and together they charted a plan that would allow them to extract the treasure without collapsing the chamber or losing their haul. Every adjustment carried consequences. A misjudged lift or an ignored crack could be catastrophic. Despite the danger, the excitement never waned. Each gold nugget moved, each artifact catalogued, each structural support reinforced became a victory in a high-stakes chess game against time and gravity. The chamber itself seemed alive, resistant yet yielding, revealing secrets only to those patient and bold enough to navigate its perils. Even as tension mounted, subtle signs suggested further mysteries. Faint drafts hinted at hidden tunnels beyond the main chamber. Scratches and markings implied passages long forgotten, and anomalies in the soil beneath the walls whispered of more treasure waiting to be uncovered. Freddy and Juan were acutely aware that they were navigating not just a room, but a complex network, each step forward potentially opening doors or triggering danger. Their every choice became a negotiation with history itself, respecting what had come before while claiming what destiny now offered. The golden glow reflecting off stone and treasure was almost hypnotic, a constant reminder of both reward and risk, and as the team moved deeper into extraction, each heartbeat synchronized with the chamber's silent, heavy pulse. By the time they paused to catch their breath, the scope of what they faced was undeniable. They had entered a hidden world layered with gold, history, and danger, where every ounce of ambition had to be measured against the risk of structural collapse and unseen traps. Freddy and Juan exchanged a glance, the unspoken agreement clear. They couldn't linger. The chamber had more to reveal, and it was time to act. Carefully, they began the first extraction, using improvised pulleys, ropes, and precise shoveling to lift crates as if the treasure itself resisted human hands. The initial containers surpassed all expectations, jewels glinting like captured starlight, stacks of ancient coins, and artifacts that carried centuries of weight in their tarnished edges. Every item was documented with painstaking care. One misstep could erase centuries of hidden history. As gold appeared in layers deeper than anticipated, the pace of discovery quickened. Each pile seemed deliberately placed, a testament to careful curation, and the thrill of uncovering such wealth was tempered by the tension in the chamber. Rumors of the find began to spread outside, whispers of a $98 million cache adding pressure. But Freddy and Juan remained focused, each movement calculated against both structural risk and the watchful eyes of the world. Then subtle signs of danger began surfacing. Water seeped in from fissures in the walls, forming small, almost imperceptible streams that threatened to pool and destabilize the floor. Freddy's eyes narrowed as he traced the damp lines, realizing they could indicate a much larger underground water system. While assessing this, he discovered a concealed side passage filled with soil and an unknown substance that hinted at an extension of the chamber. Juan's keen eyes picked up hairline fractures in the stone walls, running through sections that would bear the next extraction loads. Every second became critical. Delay could allow the water to worsen, pushing the chamber closer to collapse, but rushing risked triggering an immediate disaster. Decisions had to be made in real time. Continue extraction and risk the structure, or retreat to reinforce and slow progress. The chamber seemed almost alive, responding to human intrusion with resistance. Shadows shifted unnaturally in the torchlight, dust trembled along the walls, and the subtle echo of distant drips sounded like a heartbeat, warning that the earth beneath them was not yet tamed. Despite the rising tension, discoveries continued to astonish. Beneath heaps of gold, the team uncovered stacks of old ledgers and encrypted documents, their pages brittle but filled with symbols and codes that suggested undiscovered treasure elsewhere. Some artifacts carried markings unmistakably linked to historical smuggling rings and secret societies, hints of a network operating across continents centuries ago. A few gold pieces bore stamps indicating origins in far-off lands, their journey through oceans and hidden vaults whispering tales of global intrigue. Freddy and Juan paused frequently, realizing the magnitude of their find. This was no longer a simple cache of wealth. It was a living archive of history, a cultural trove, interwoven with mystery and legacy. Each artifact Each coin seemed to pulse with stories untold. The chamber itself a node in a vast network of hidden caches scattered across the region. Extraction became a careful dance between progress and prudence. Pulleys squeaked, shovels scraped, and crates were lowered to safer ground with painstaking care. Freddy directed movements with precision, ensuring that the shifting weight of gold did not unsettle the chamber, while Juan continually scanned for structural weakness, recalculating angles and supports as they went. Every discovery added complexity. The more they removed, the more vulnerable the structure became, yet abandoning even a fraction of the treasure was unthinkable. Team members worked in synchrony, moving loads, recording findings, and reinforcing walls in a seamless rhythm, aware that one miscalculation could undo weeks of labor. The chamber's eerie atmosphere seemed to heighten their senses. Even the smallest sound, a falling pebble, a shifting beam, was magnified, interpreted as both warning and guidance. As the layers of gold and artifacts were slowly cleared, new secrets revealed themselves. Some crates contained items that seemed ceremonial, untouched by miners or smugglers, hinting at ritual or symbolic significance rather than simple wealth. Old ledgers suggested a sequence of caches hidden in precise locations across the region, each connected to the other through encoded maps and cryptic instructions. Freddy traced the markings with a mixture of reverence and calculation, understanding that this treasure's true value extended far beyond monetary worth. Juan cross-referenced symbols on coins and artifacts with the ledger codes, piecing together fragments of a puzzle centuries in the making. It became increasingly clear that the $98 million haul, as staggering as it was, represented only part of a much larger historical network. Time pressure mounted alongside discovery. Small tremors in the chamber floor hinted at unseen underground voids, and the water infiltration worsened incrementally, creating slick surfaces and adding to the risk of structural collapse. Freddy and Juan had to make split-second choices about which sections to prioritize, balancing the thrill of uncovering extraordinary artifacts with the unyielding demands of safety. Crates were rotated, supports adjusted, and temporary barriers constructed to redirect water flow and prevent caving. The team's energy was unrelenting, adrenaline mingled with exhaustion, driving them forward in a relentless pursuit of every ounce of treasure, every artifact, every secret the chamber withheld. By the time a significant portion of the treasure had been secured, patterns began to emerge, artifacts stamped with international markings, ledgers filled with encoded routes, and structural cues that suggested the chamber was part of a coordinated operation spanning generations, regions, and possibly even oceans. Freddy and Juan exchanged a glance, silently acknowledging that their discovery was more than wealth. It was a revelation, a story carefully hidden for centuries, waiting for the right hands to uncover it. With this understanding, the team pushed forward, meticulously lifting crate after crate. Weeks of relentless labor gradually yielded the chamber's full bounty. Each load was heavier than the last, gold shimmering in layers far deeper than initial surveys had suggested. The haul exceeded even the most optimistic projections, leaving the crew in awe, yet tempered by extreme caution. Reinforced beams, carefully placed supports, and constant monitoring ensured the chamber remained stable, its centuries-old secrets protected. Amid the golden glow and shadows of the walls, every miner understood they were handling more than treasure. They were touching history, human ambition, and stories long buried beneath the earth. Freddy and Juan stood among the heaps of gold, contemplating its weight, not merely financial, but historical, cultural, and legendary, each nugget, coin, and artifact carrying a narrative of daring, strategy, and survival that would echo long after the chamber was sealed behind them. As word of the find began to ripple outward, local authorities and historians moved quickly, drawn to the chamber like moths to a flame. Authenticity verification became a top priority. Every artifact catalogued, every ledger cross-referenced, each gold nugget examined for origin and purity. The team realized that the implications extended far beyond personal fortune. This discovery could rewrite the region's history, altering long-held narratives and sparking global fascination. Secure transport plans were drawn with military precision, convoys mapped, crates reinforced, and the route meticulously timed to avoid any mishap. Freddy reflected quietly on the role of intuition and instinct throughout the mission, recognizing that the right decisions often came from a combination of courage and gut feeling. Juan credited patience and careful analysis, the kind that allowed them to see patterns in maps, soil, and stone that others had missed entirely. Together, they acknowledged that the $98 million treasure was only part of the story. The knowledge gained, the secrets uncovered, and the historical context of the find were equally invaluable. Yet even as the treasure was secured and the chamber stabilized, speculation began to ignite. Rumors circulated among historians, treasure hunters, and local communities that additional chambers might exist, hidden across the region, waiting for the patient and clever to uncover them. The idea of a network of interconnected caches transformed the find from an isolated strike into part of a sprawling, centuries-old puzzle, a challenge that called for both daring and intellect. Freddy and Juan embraced this revelation with measured excitement. Their reputation as treasure hunters had shifted dramatically. They were no longer merely prospectors, but pioneers rewriting the rules of discovery, balancing risk, strategy, and historical preservation. Every crate moved, every artifact catalogued, every gold nugget extracted reinforced their legacy and cemented their place in the lore of treasure hunting. The lessons of the expedition became immediately apparent. Risk and reward were intertwined at every level. Patience, planning, and respect for the environment were just as critical as brute strength or wealth ambition. Each decision made within the chamber, from the placement of beams to the order in which gold was lifted, demonstrated the fragile balance between audacity and caution. Freddy and Juan recognized that ambition alone was insufficient. History demanded respect, and survival required intelligence. Their meticulous documentation of the chamber and its contents ensured that the knowledge would not be lost, preserving it for future generations who might continue to uncover the region's secrets. Maps, photographs, and detailed records were stored alongside the treasure itself, creating an archive as rich as the gold surrounding them. As the team exited the chamber for the final time, the magnitude of the discovery settled over them like a tangible weight. The golden glow that had filled their nights underground was now a symbol of their achievement, a physical representation of vision, skill, and determination. Teasers of potential additional treasures teased the imagination, hidden passages glimpsed, coded ledgers hinting at further caches, symbols suggesting the reach of smuggling networks and secret societies spanning centuries. Freddy and Juan recognized that this was only the beginning of their story. Their names were now entwined with legend. The chamber's secrets, once protected by time, had been unlocked by the perfect combination of courage, intellect, and resolve. This discovery transformed them completely. No longer simply prospectors chasing fortune, they had become legends in their own right, figures whose daring, strategy, and insight would be told and retold. The story of the hidden chamber, its meticulous construction, and its staggering contents would ripple across the world, inspiring both awe and ambition. The narrative intertwined wealth, myth, history, and human tenacity into one seamless tale, a testament to the rewards of perseverance and the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of forgotten lands. Their work ensured that the chamber and its treasures would endure not only in material form, but as a chronicle of courage and discovery, a legend etched in gold and stone, waiting for the next generation to pick up the torch. Even as the final crate was secured and the last artifact catalogued, Freddy and Juan knew that the chamber had fundamentally altered their lives. It had tested their limits, demanded their intellect, and rewarded their patience beyond measure. The treasure itself, while monumental in value, was eclipsed by the knowledge gained, the history unearthed, and the myth they had become part of. Across the region, whispers of the find sparked dreams and curiosity, hinting at other chambers, other treasures, and other stories yet untold. The hidden chamber, once a secret buried in time, had now transformed into a cornerstone of legend, and Freddy and Juan stood at the center, guardians of a story that blended fortune, strategy, history, and myth into an enduring legacy.